If your marriage is falling apart, it's probably not for all the reasons you think. And one of the main reasons that most men miss is how your wife perceives you. And the scary part is her perception of you is being shaped every single day, and you don't even notice it happening. Every argument you have, every moment of distance, every cold shoulder, it all starts with one thing: the version of you that she's living with every day. And if you don't understand how she perceives you, no conflict resolution technique in the world is gonna save your marriage. If it's your first time here, my name is Michael Riggs. I'm a full-time author, entrepreneur, men's personal development and marriage mentor, husband and father of 6, and I teach men all over the world how to live fully optimized, leveled up lives. So if that's something you're into, stick around, hit the subscribe button, push the like button on this video, all that good stuff, and let's dive right into it. So like I said, today I want to talk about the way that your wife perceives you, and the main question here is, are you still the same man that she married? Another way to ask that is, are you still the man that she thought she was marrying? Are you still the man she fell in love with? And today we're gonna get into the false self, the true self, and the ideal self. So what is the false self? Well, when people first start seeing each other, and you might recall this, when you first start dating in what they call the honeymoon phase, or when you first got married, you're sort of putting on a false self. And we do this naturally, kind of unintentionally, subconsciously. We want to present our best selves, right? What that comes down to is you're trying to charm her, right? You're trying to put on your best self, be your best self, present your best self in front of her. So in the beginning, let's say you were charming, funny, you made her laugh. You made sure that you always dressed well, that you always smelled good. And the list goes on from there. But when you first start seeing someone, when you first get together, you sort of put on a false self. And then after you've been together for a while, you've been married for a while, the true self starts coming out more and more. And this goes for both people in the equation, right? Both people in the marriage, the man and the woman. But what we're talking about today is you, right? And the question is, what is that true self that has been shown more and more naturally? Again, these are things that just naturally happen if you're not aware of it, if you're not like intentional about not allowing these things happen. And that's why we're talking about this. So some of the true self starts coming out. Maybe you lay around on the weekends in sweatpants. I'm just gonna put sweatpants slob. There we go. And you know, the thing is, a lot of guys work really long hours, and on the weekend you want a well-deserved break, and so you kind of lounge around. Maybe you are the kind of guy who watches football and drinks beer, and that's how you unwind, or maybe you like to sit and play video games for a few hours. And there's not anything necessarily wrong with that. You should be able to do the things that you want to enjoy sometimes. The problem here is that it's shaping your wife's perception of you over time. So let's say that you put on your best self, or as we were calling it, the false self, every time you go to work, every time you have a meeting, every time you go to church or you have family over. But every time that you're just at home, this true self is all she sees. Maybe you started doing some things that you wouldn't have done in that honeymoon phase when you first started seeing each other. Like maybe you fart in front of her, burp in front of her, all these type of things. And I know a lot of couples end up doing these things in front of each other. Like, I should be able to be comfortable. I've even heard before people say that it's not true love if you can't burp and fart in front of your partner, and then they wonder a few years later why their intimacy is gone. It might even be a running joke between the two of you that you do these type of things in front of each other. But the point that I'm making here is that her perception of you is being crafted over time. This is the guy that she fell in love with. This is the guy you are now. Too much of the true self has been exposed, or is being exposed way too frequently. And in my book, Warrior Husband, How to Be a Better Husband and Save Your Marriage, I listed 5 rules. Don't fart in front of your wife. Don't burp in front of your wife. Don't scratch your nuts in front of your wife. Don't pick your boogers in front of your wife. Don't present yourself as a lazy slob in front of your wife. Why? Because that becomes who you are in her eyes. So back to that question. Are you still the man that she fell in love with? When did you stop being charming, funny? When did you stop putting yourself together and dressing well, grooming yourself? When did you stop making sure that you smelled good? So what you need to do is evaluate or reevaluate. How does your wife see you? How does she perceive you? Who are you in her eyes? Are you the sweatpants slob who just lays around, drinks beer, plays video games, watches sports, burps, farts, and scratches his nuts? Or are you the charming, funny, put together, professional, good husband and family man. That's really what it comes down to. How does your wife perceive you? And it's very easy to get caught up in the routine of life, like the routines and responsibilities of daily life, and we stop being aware and we end up making all kinds of mistakes, like presenting ourselves the wrong way to our wife because we've gotten way too comfortable. Even things like the way you talk to her. Let's evaluate how you talk to your wife. Would you have ever talked to your wife the way you talk to her now when you first started seeing each other before she decided to spend the rest of her life with you? Because at one point, she thought it was a really good idea to spend the rest of her life with you. And would you have talked to her the way that you talk to her now back then? What is your tone like when you have disagreements or when you get stressed out? If conflict is an issue in your marriage, take some inventory on how you talk to her during those tense moments or in those disagreements. Are you the level-headed, calm, safe, secure guy, or are you a total asshole? And if you're being a total asshole, are you still the same man she fell in love with? And if conflict is a huge problem in your marriage, if you guys are just disagreeing way too much, you don't know how to handle it, you don't know how to work your way through those things, I just put together a conflict resolution playbook. It's an ebook. You can get it at the link in the description of this video. It's super short. You can read it and understand it probably in a day. It's less than 50 pages. And basically it's going to teach you exactly how to handle conflict and communication as a strong warrior husband. And like I said, nobody ever teaches us this stuff. So definitely grab that book. It's called the Conflict Resolution Playbook. And that's going to set you on the right track to stop having so much conflict and arguments, how to navigate conflict and arguments so that you can solve the issue quickly and effectively rather than it escalating and blowing up and turning into a whole horrible thing and degrading your marriage even more. So definitely check that out. But like I was saying, we get caught up in life. That's really what happens. When I first got together with my wife, I was a ripped, fit construction worker and I worked outside in the Florida sun all day long. Then we got married and she started feeding me 3 meals a day plus snacks, and I started working from home. And before you know it, I looked in the mirror and was like, whoops, I'm fat. And it just happens sometimes, and it's a long road to getting back to fit, trust me. So I'm not necessarily like shaming you or beating you up. This kind of stuff happens, you know, and that's what they refer to as letting yourself go or letting oneself go. We're not choosing to do that. Sometimes it just happens. But becoming aware of it and deciding to put on your best self again, start impressing her, start flirting with her, start being that charming, funny guy again, gonna make a massive difference in your life. And the 5 habits that slowly kill attraction are lounging, sloppiness, rudeness, lack of ambition, and poor hygiene. So by now you've probably realized some things that you've been doing wrong that are shaping the way that your wife perceives you in a negative way. And if one of the main problems, the reason that you're having marriage problems in the first place is how your wife perceives you, how do we fix that? How do we repair that? Well, here's the thing, man. Small actions compound over time. The more that you get up and put yourself together, even on the weekends, even when you're taking a break, you present your best self, the more her perception of you will shift over time, just like it did in a negative direction. The more that you're charming and funny and you flirt with her and make jokes consistently all the time, the more that you are the guy that you were in the beginning, the guy who is actually trying to impress her still, the more her perception of you will shift in that positive direction. And you know what's another bonus to this, bro, is the more that you put effort into yourself, the more she will put effort into you, the more that she will mirror that and reflect that. And once you start living life as an optimized man, the more she will follow suit because you are leading by example. And that might even be very inspiring to her. And she might say, wow, he's made all these upgrades to himself and to his life, and I'm actually enjoying being around him again. Maybe I need to take inventory of myself, start making some adjustments myself. As you begin to level up and upgrade and shine in your life, the more she will do the same. Trust me, it just kind of naturally happens. Being a better husband begins with being a better man overall. Being fully optimized mind, body, and spirit, and presenting your best self every single day. So I have an exercise for you. If you want to repair the way your wife perceives you, I want you to get a piece of paper and split it into 3 columns, or get 3 pieces of paper. Maybe you need some extra room, but I want you to write down all of the things that you think are reasons why she fell in love with you in the first place. When you first got together, when you were first seeing each other, before you got married, the reasons why she fell in love with you and decided that it was a great idea to spend the rest of her life with you. In the next column, or on the next piece of paper, I want you to write down all of the things that you believe are your true self coming out and showing too much that has changed your wife's perception of you and started painting you in a negative light in her eyes? And you got to be honest with yourself here, man. You got to be honest with yourself. Don't bullshit yourself. Like, what are the things? Like, I lay around and I'm lazy on the weekends or when I'm off of work, drink too much, burp and fart in front of her. I'm rude and obnoxious and loud and I talk to her negatively and I shouldn't do that, you know? All the things that you think have shifted her perception of you from the guy she fell in love with into the guy that, you know, be honest with yourself, if you're having marriage problems, the guy that she can't even stand to be around. And this will bring you clarity on what you need to change. And here's the thing, man, it's not too late. A lot of people think it's too late. When I tell them, like, the way your wife perceives you has become this super negative thing, they're like, well, it's too late. I can't go back now. That's how she sees me. No, because consistency over time can shift her perception of you again. And this is the most important part of the exercise, which is the ideal self. I want you to write down the dream version of yourself, all the traits, all the habits, all the routines, the success, everything in bullet points. I want you to write down who that man is, who you want to be. If everything were to be perfect and you were the picture perfect example of your ideal dream self, what does that look like? Do you want to be ripped and fit and healthy? Write that down. Do you want to be successful or have a promotion or lead the company or whatever the thing is? Do you want to be a good father? You want to be a good husband? You want to dress and look a certain way? Write everything down, the ideal dream version of yourself, and this will bring you clarity and direction on where you're going and who you are becoming. And then I want you to determine all the things that you need to do, all the steps that you need to take to begin moving in the direction of becoming that ideal version of yourself. And one of the main ways of becoming that ideal dream version of yourself is to get rid of all of these things, because what it really comes down to is all of these things are a lack of respect for yourself. And the better you become in your life, the more upgrades and level ups that you make to yourself, and the better you are in her perception and in your life, the more we can bridge this gap between the false self and the ideal self, which will ultimately become your true self. I didn't even plan that, bro. That was good. You see how I did that? I went from the false self to the true self. That was cool. So get clear on how your wife perceives you. Does she perceive you as the lazy slob who's rude, disrespectful, doesn't talk to her well? Like, who does she see you as? Or does she see you as the man that she fell in love with? And if she doesn't see you as the man she fell in love with, you have some work to do. So that's what I got for you guys today. I hope you got something out of this lesson, out of this video. Definitely stick around and subscribe, all that good stuff. It was great to talk to you today, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.